And this Japanese corporation said, "Hey, you know what? We can build the cars. We'll just build a factory for $2 billion. We'll build it in, build it in Mexico, and we'll flood the American market with cheap electric, vehicles, and and deficit, and destroy companies like Tesla, and that will never be able to compete." Because
That might be my notification.
it was.
Nice.
But I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that that YouTube used to be like really quick about that stuff. Now it's like, and I told somebody, I said I used to get 20, 30 emails. People are going online, and now you get not. I guess you got to watch them like 10 or 12 times each hour in order to get a notification anymore. I was quite figured that out.
To me, it seems like hit or miss.
Yeah. It's like, it's like, he doesn't need to watch that. He didn't care about that. Anyways, so now here's the question. So what, when you're in Colombia.
Yep.
So how did you find the infrastructure there? Roads, bridges, just basic, the basic things, the infrastructure, electricity. Well, you were going out in the big cities, but yeah.
Yeah, I found it to actually be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. Well, Colombia has some of its own natural resources.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own oil. They have their own refineries. They have copper mines. So the electric was actually really neat.
Yeah.
The wires and everything was neat.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't like the Philippines were. Yeah. I mean, I told somebody, so you have to realize, when you go to the Philippines, you see that tangle of wires. What it is those aren't actually electric wires. What those are is telephone wires and internet and cable TV and all these goofy wires that over the years, people strung. And the problem is they don't take them down. They just, if you order whatever, like a telephone line, right, the company will come and bring a new telephone line from the junction box over to your house. They'll disconnect the old one. They won't pull the old one out. They won't use the old one. They'll just run new cable, and they'll just guy will go along and tie wrap it up to the old one. And, and then you end up with a huge bundle of wires. It looks like, when you're looking at it, like, what the hell is that? And the same thing but it is the same thing with House Electric. They go from the transformer and run it over to your house, and they just run, you buy a new wire, they install it. When you leave your, when you sell your house, right, the electric company, says, "Oh, you need new service," and you hire some, and they say, "Okay," and they come and they hang a new wire, and you pay for the wire. Instead of using the same wire like they do here in the U.S. So yeah, it ends up looking like a junk pile.
Yeah, you didn't see any of that in Colombia. It's all nice, neat electric.
Yeah, but
the roads seem to be better to me too. Of course, I didn't drive out to the middle of the province either.
Yeah, and you didn't spend all your time in it.
I did ride their metro. They have a metro, and they also have not what it's called. It's basically like a gondola. Is it a gondola? When you're going skiing and it takes you up the mountain in that ride. Yeah, so it has some of that, and that's actually part of their
the little cable tram or car or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, trams. I guess that would be the word for it. And that's just part of their transportation system there.
Yeah. Oh, and you're going up and down, big mountains. That's not a bad idea. I mean, Hong Kong's been, when I was in Hong Kong, this would be back in the 80s. Yeah, there was, they had this thing you sat in and you went up the side, and it was like, but it wasn't really it was more like a. It was a you ride up, and then you come up top, and it's like railroad tracks, and there'd be like 6 people going across, and you climb in there on the little seat, and you just rolled up, and then got to the top, and you know, and you get off, and you went, lifted up in the air, and came back around and landed back down, and the people going downhill would get on there. It was
My
kind of
picture
cool.
looks frozen,
It is.
and I look angry.
You are.
What's going on? All right, I shut the cam. Why did the cam die?
You broke your camera?
Yeah, apparently I broke my camera.
Yeah. Oh, they want to know if you've learned Spanish yet.
Si, senor.
Yeah. He said, yeah, he learned aquí. Aquí.
Mira aquí. And I learned, what is it?
Aquí de punta?
What the hell just happened? Hold on.
Yeah. He here. I gave JG Spanish lessons, the quick ones. I gave him enough Spanish to get his face slapped in almost any bar, restaurant, or any place he went. I said, here, when the girl walks up to you, at the restaurant, here's what you say to her. And did he follow my advice? No. Because you know how I know that? Because he didn't come back with bruised cheeks.
No bruises.
Hold on a second. I'm going to kick you off and then come back.
Yeah, that's what. No, I'm still on mine.
Yeah, I moved you off and then back on.
Maybe this. I don't know what's going on.
Are you there? Are you there?
I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can't see you, but that's all right. You look better this way.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah. I mean, this is an improvement. I mean, I still got the small picture of you down there in the bottom.
Yeah, that's good. Something for you to hold on to. I think Mark the Savage King is right. It's looking good for the Yankees.
Yeah. But who cares about baseball? I mean,
well, when you have a good team, you care. When not, then you don't care.
Well, the Diamondbacks are gonna, do all right. Let's see.
Diamondbacks. The D-backs.
The D-backs, yeah. Yeah, actually, I was thinking about taking, buying tickets and taking B-Joy Friday to a baseball game. She's never been to one. Actually, I should have taken her. It's actually more fun to go to the spring league games than the actual, games that count, because it's just a better atmosphere. You have more fun. It's but
yeah.
I looked at tickets. I saw, my God, I mean, you want tickets in the nosebleed seats? They're like $60, and decent tickets. Decent tickets, right?
The last few games I've been to, I wasn't even in New York. I went and saw. Yeah, I saw them in San Diego.
Yeah,
and I get like first, second, or third row, maybe, right behind home plate, or maybe along the Yankee dugout. And those tickets in New York would be thousands of dollars.
Yeah. And they're what, $300, $400, $500?
I don't think I paid more than $200.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was looking at Diamondback, like I was thinking like first base. We did go like first base down around. Yeah, you know, and what's available, and what's available is you know, eighth or ninth roll. Yeah, it's
ABT.
$650. $650 a ticket. And nah, you know, that's nuts.
Yeah, it
I mean,
depends.
nosebleed tickets, like I said, the cheapest nosebleed tickets were like, 50, 60, $70. It's like, you got to be kidding me. Oh. So I said, well, and see, I was going to the Diamondback site, so that's what they have. So I'm thinking, going to an aftermarket site where people bought these tickets and realize they can't go, or they have season tickets and they're trying to
Yeah,
dump them.
exactly. Mark has a friend who just bought a brand new Tesla for 135,000 cash, and he already has the S
Yes.
Mode too. I had asked him, and he just bought a new Tesla that he could just give me the old one.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a good investment. Paying $135,000 cash for a Tesla. As soon as you drive it off the lot, it's now $65,000.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Tesla's been dropping the prices of their cars, trying to, because they realize, I mean, yeah, Musk, Musk got into that game when he bought Tesla. Back, him and his brother, they got into that game way back, way back in the, in the early 2000s, okay? When they were using laptop, batteries, and and building just a little roadster thing. And they found these guys in California that had great ideas, and they stuck money into it. And then they took the guys that started the company and fucked them over, and and Musk took over, and his brother is kind of laid back. She's like, yeah, do whatever you want. I'm going to go do my thing, and he kind of cashed out of there. And Musk is kind of running into the ground. I mean, they're
Well,
way
I mean,
over.
listen, he took advantage as long as he can with the high prices because there was no real competition.
And
Yeah,
now he's looking at, I mean,
price is supposed to go down as you scale anyway.
Well, yeah, but the big thing is, now he's terrified. He's terrified of BYD. Hey, BYD, okay, like I said, their plan is to make cars in Mexico. Okay, a million cars a year to start. Right, that they're going to put on the U.S. market that'll be under $25,000. They'll get you 250 to 300 miles on a charge. Will charge to 80% in 20 to 30 minutes using batteries that are made in the factory in Mexico that they build, that are owned by BYD and so forth. Right? I mean, BYD makes their own motors. They make their own. They make everything. Right? BYD
Mark, the most important thing in baseball is RBIs and runs scored.
Yeah. Well, in pitcher stats, but you got a great pitcher, but yeah.
Yeah, I used to get free Yankee. Well, my brother did. When he worked in the deli, they had
For him to spend 135K is like, it always amazes me. It's the same thing I get, from other people. If I go out and buy something, they're like, "What are you going to do?" What are you going to do with your old car? Like, I mean, when I bought, now here, let's see, last three vehicles I bought. What did I do with the old ones? I gave one to my mother-in-law. He was like 3 years old. I gave it to her. The other one I gave to my daughter, and she promptly, like 2 months later, she sold it. Because her and her boy, the guy she was her boyfriend at the time, they needed money, so they sold it. And when I bought this electric car for BJ, the other one, I donated it away, and somebody said, "Well, you could have, I could have given it to my daughter, but I gave her, I gave her a $20,000 car before that, and she sold it. So why would I do that again? Hmm, yeah. And so hey, Mark, if you're asking somebody to give you a car, hmm, just realize, what you consider is no money to them, right? If they turn around and throw the car away, they consider it no money. I mean, I told my daughter when she said, "Oh, why didn't you give me that?" I said, "Because I could have scrapped it too." I said, "It really didn't matter to me. I just gave it. I called up one of those places. I heard it on the radio. I said, yeah, can you come pick this car up?" Hmm, hmm.
Yeah, you should sell it and get every penny you can for it.
You know, I used to do that kind of crap, and I realized, you know what the hassle is for selling stuff. I mean, now I got to deal with people coming over. Oh, well, you're asking $300 for it. Yeah, it's worth 500. I'm asking 300. Now you want to give me $200, and you just wasted 30 minutes of my time. Okay, so
No, now
30
you
minutes.
just put it on the app and sell it now.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, then I gotta go in there, and I always laugh when these people are like, oh, we're gonna lowball these people and this and that. I said, well, I always tell people, hey, well, how much you want for it? No, I ain't gonna pay that. Never mind. And they're like, well, how much would you pay? Not what you asked. So you're asking me to give you a number? No, you tell me what's the minimum you would take. And then when they give me that number, I say, no, I can give you a number. And I go 50% less than that. Because you wasted my time and now you've irritated me. I mean, if you're going to sell something, sell it, for a fair price. I say, hey, here's the price, and the first person meets it. And that's how I do sell stuff. When I do,
That's why you're not a good salesman.
I sold a bike. CBGB. He has risen, and he is not pleased.
What, Trump just wake up?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. He's the only angry person I've heard of.
He always wakes up like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the Trump mantra. You got to complain about everything. So,
I agree with Mark on that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not biting you in the butt. It's just, I mean, it always amazes me. It always amazes me when people, think that somehow they're entitled. And, for a guy that's got a I mean, I got a high school education. Yes, I have taken some college courses. I have no degree in anything.
You're jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah. And, and I had a guy come up to me and he's like, he was complaining about how I make more than he does and he went to college and this and that. And I said, well, it sucks for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, but he studied art history.
Well, no, he actually studied, I mean, he's in his 40s and he's got a
He's a political scientist.
No, he's got a master's degree in mechanical engineering. And I said, okay, so it sucks to be you. Is that what you're telling me? Well, how because he asked me, where did I get my degree from? I said, I went to high school. I did take drafting. I did take drafting in the 8th degree. So, in 8th grade, I did take drafting class, and what is that?
Every man repeats a story.
Baby Rogan has arrived in time for Easter. Who's Baby Rogan?
That's Mark Thornton's kid. He's 70.
Mark who?
Mark Thornton.
Who's Mark Thornton?
Oh, he's an author. He sold auctions art on yachts and worked up for the cruise lines. He's a rich Yeah, he does. He interviews really boring people in Dumageddon.
Okay, so I guess
Best-selling author, was compared next to Stephen King, but then he just wrote the one book.
yeah, yeah. Stephen King's only written what 300-400.
Yeah.
I did meet. Oh, God, what was the guy's name? He wrote a book, um, and it became like a series. What's it called? Yeah, it was about some guy that took on the mob and started killing off the mobsters and that. He's like a Green Beret, and his cousin was killed, and and he came back, and he decided to kill off the mob.
He's a ninja.
Yeah, and and because he looked kind of Italian, he could blend in. Oh, the Executioner series. Hey, this is back in the 70s maybe when he started doing it, and he wrote the book, and it was kind of popular, and the publisher said, hey, you should write like a second one, and he did, and then he wrote a third one, and then what he did was he kind of wrote a storyline, and he wrote a book every month, right? And they were in paperbacks, and they sold for like $1, and he'd sell like 1 million of them every week or every month. And he wrote those books for 9 years. Right? He wrote a book a month based off of this one character, and then it split into like 5 different sub books and whatever. And they were doing it, and he had like 20 writers, and all he did is say, "Yep, follows the storyline, publish it." And and they were doing like 20 or $30 million a month in sales, and it went on, like I said, for 15 or 20 years. And yeah, so I was laughing. I mean, Stephen King, Stephen King, actually, if you read his book, they're brilliant. Right? The movies are such a disappointment compared to the book.
Movies can never be better than the books.
They can be. I mean, there's certain movies that were better than the book, but just because, I mean, to tell a story, the thing is with with Stephen King, books, most of them are so articulate. It's hard to put them into a 2-hour movie or 3-hour movie.
Yeah, well, you can't get inside the head of the characters. That's why I think the books are the better.
I said the best ones they ever did was what was it, like the ones that actually they didn't do too bad on converting into was the ones they made into miniseries, where it's like, okay, we turned it into 8 hours worth of movies, uh, where you could actually see the build up of the characters and that.
Yeah, he punched another expat in the face in Dumageddon. That was a big story for a while. Mark Thornton.
I have no idea who that is.
Every man has a story.
What book did he write?
I don't know. I had Googled it one time to see if he just made it up, and it looks like if it was published, there's only like 3 reviews, and I think they're all from him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, there's one guy, he talks about, he wrote a book on living in the Philippines, this and that. And I looked, they says, oh, yeah, he did. He wrote this book, and and it's on Amazon. You can buy a copy of it, for
99 cents.
No, for $14.99 or whatever in
ebook. Oh, in hardback.
Yeah, in hardback. And and my guess is, that he, it's like I told somebody, he said, you can write a book, you can, you can, go to these publishers and they're going to charge you like $800 and they'll publish the book. And if you want hard copies, they're going to charge you like, $5,000 and you can get 1,000 hard copies. My guess is that's what this one is, because I was just curious and I bought a copy and, and let me put it this way, right? The advice that this man gives, pretty much is like, okay, when you get to the Philippines, you get off the airplane, you have to go through customs. They don't try to avoid going through customs. They're gonna give you a visa, 30 or 90. I think at that time it was a 90-day visa. Right? Make sure that you go, if you're going to stay longer than 90 days, go to the visa office, in your area, like, a week before, bring your passport with you, dress appropriately, and renew your visa, because you don't want to go in there day after it, expired. It's like, this is the advice you're charging people $15 for?
Oh, a lot of them are doing that now, and they're charging like $35, $40 for consultations.
Oh yeah, that started with what was that goofball's name?
Rike.
Yeah, I charge you $40 an hour for me to give you bad advice.
And you can ask me anything about the Philippines.
Yeah, and then he went to Vietnam. You could ask him anything about Vietnam. Within
Yeah,
1
he
month,
was there.
Everything about Vietnam.
Of course, I was in Colombia for 10 days. I'm an expert now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Hey, I'm gonna, yeah, I'll go, I'll we'll write a book. Yeah, how to live in Colombia for $10, $10 a week.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Actually, he's talking to the guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, him and his wife bought some land near guy you've heard of, Tom and Ruth, and they bought this land, and he's going to retire in a couple of years and go there. Okay, I'll probably see you because I'll be there at that time, and and he was telling me that he's a little worried though that because of the huge spike in prices, right? That it's gonna be hard to live over there.
Yeah, well,
I mean, electricity's 12 peso a kilowatt. Right?
you need to go to the Rock, Mark. The Rock. And see all of Medellin from the 360 view of the entire city from there.
Well, you didn't actually do any. I was hoping you'd do like some videos from there, because I was waiting for the first person to ask you, "Oh, did you see the giant cross of of Jesus looking out over the bay?"
Yep.
That would be real, not Colombia.
I did a few videos. I just haven't did anything with them yet.
Yeah.
You know what they do at the red lights in Medellin? There's a lot of like dance troops. The light turns red, they just start like break dancing and everything in front of the cars, and then they, trying to get someone, trying to get a few pesos out of them.
But
there was less beggars.
Well, I mean, it's better in the old days when they used to come out with the buckets of greasy, dirty water and try to wash your windshield.
No, they brought that back in New York. Everything bad is coming back.
Is that back now? Yeah. Well, I told somebody, he said, here's the problem. Okay, with the American system is, okay, we realize we have an issue with people coming here, whether it be from the northern border or southern border, right? So, right, the deal is, okay, we have to, you have to deal with it, right? So you have two options. One option is, we're going to make it so miserable for those people that want to leave, but they're not going to leave. Right? we're not going to allow them to work. We're not going to do 20 other things. So then they're going to go out and beg for money, or we got to bail them out. It's an option two, like 12.5 million jobs, right? And you're bitching about 2.5 million people coming here in 3 years. 12.5 million labor jobs that require no education.
CBGB. CBGB. I'm
I
working on the editing for that series. I'm not sure what I'm going to price it at yet.
Yeah, but hey,
yeah, I said that before. Yeah, all these women in New York are saying that they're getting.
Okay, here's the deal. You get 30 days. You get 30 days to come up with work and whatever. Right? And after 30 days, okay, we cut you off 100%. And if you have a problem, okay, we'll send you back. No problem. Okay? But see, that would be the logical way to deal with it. Not the kumbaya, my feelings, my feelings are hurt. Or they're going to drive down the wages for taking a job you don't want.
No, I don't think so. Scott, hold on, man. Mark brought up the women getting punched in the face all over New York City. I don't think it's BS. I think they are getting punched because sometimes they even show them on the cam, and they never say, "No, random women are just getting punched in the face for no reason." And it's always a black man punching a white woman's face, but they don't say that on the news. But sometimes they show you the video, and then you can see that, oh yeah, it was a black guy punching a white woman in the face. Now, if that was reversed and white men were going around punching black women in the face, holy shit, that would be the biggest racial thing in the world. But it's black on white, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't count.
Well, yeah, I mean, but here's the thing is, like I pointed out to somebody, and they got really upset on their live, and they actually banned me. I've been banned from another live.
That's good. Yeah, that's a mark of.
I brought up simple fact. Hey, later, Mark.
Yeah. Good night, Mark.
Go give Ning, a hug. Give her a little kiss on the cheek for me. But here's the thing I brought up. I brought up this guy. He said, okay, you do realize, right, that the one case of the illegal, right, killing somebody, right, doesn't mean a whole lot when you have to realize that, that 200 other people were killed in almost the same way, in the same circumstances, by native-born Americans. Right? The amount of crime committed by people that come here illegally is very small, percentage-wise. But it makes really good, splashy news to throw it out there.
Costa Rica and Colombia both ranked in the top 20 happiest places to live. The U.S. was like number 22, and all the Western countries were ranked out of the top 20.
Yeah, but I'm kind of amazed that America made it to 22, because you have because currently you have like I said, the mega groups, which is like 25% of the U.S. population, that believes America is just a horrible place to live. Right? I mean, I've yet to meet a follower of the Donnie, right, that says America's doing they're doing okay. They're fine. No, God, we're within days, weeks, months of becoming a place nobody wants to live in.
Well, they should leave.
Yeah, I said, well, you guys, should create your own country. Hey, convince Texas to file a leave. We can pull all the military bases and government jobs out. Houston, close down NASA and all that stuff. Mission Control will move it out of Texas, no problem. So we'll give them 5 years. We'll move it all out, and all you can move to Texas. I mean, you got to realize Texas, 60% of Texas, right, is owned by the state. Right, that's all free land. Right, there, that 80% of Texas is uninhabited. So you all move to Texas, become your own country. God help you. Right?
Yeah, see from the union.
Well, yeah, and then where the interstates and all of it, we'll build a wall around it. You guys have Mexico to the south, the United States to the north, and Texas. It will be the country of Texas. Who do we got? Chasing Tail Outdoors.
Hey, how you doing, Richard? Thanks for stopping in. No, but you see, the thing is a lot of Americans don't know about other countries because most of them haven't traveled anywhere. Oh, yeah. When you get out of the country, and you stay somewhere a while, you start to see that other countries have been functioning for hundreds of years, and they can have a different system than we do, and it works. And most of them, at least, have some type of medical system. Oh, and that's another thing that I seen a lot of people doing in Colombia was they were traveling to Colombia for medical procedures, dentistry, and different elective cosmetic surgeries and stuff. There was a lot of places around the tourist areas.
Well, like my wife. I mean, she worked for 9 years in Thailand at a hospital that completely, right, based like 80% of their business was on foreigners coming there for plastic surgery, as you well know, sex change operations, and things along LASIK, all these different procedures, and 40% of their clients were Americans.
Well, I was even talking to the girl in the pharmacy, and she said that she was thinking about going to Colombia to get her dental work done. She said it was so expensive she could take the trip, spend a week, get the work done, and have a vacation in the mix.
Well, I mean, and that they do that. They do that at the hospital my wife worked at in Bangkok. I mean, dental surgery. Like implants. I mean, she because she grew up in the Philippines. She had some teeth pulled when she was younger versus filling the cavity or doing whatever. And and here in she we talked about it. She went for an estimate and they told her $21,000. Three separate procedures, 21 grand, and they can put in these 2 teeth, right? And before she left the job in Thailand, she didn't want to spend $7,000 for the same 3 operations and have that work done. So I told her, so just fly back and have it done.
Yeah, I mean, you could fly back, spend some time, and get the work done, and it still come out cheaper.
Yeah, you still have your friends that you can stay. You can stay with them. And save $14,000. In the process. Yeah, it amazes me. It just amazes me that here in the United States, we are more worried about somebody coming here, looking for a better life, and whether or not they're going to take away my job. Really? What kind of poorly educated person are you? How low are your job skills that you're worried about somebody that just walked over 1,000 miles to get here is going to take away your job? Is your entire career hey, do you want fries with that milkshake? Yeah, they might take your job. Oh, you want me? You want me to edge the lawn when I cut the grass? If that's your life career, yeah, they might take your job, right? But
Hey,
in
don't make
all
fun of landscapers, man. They can make a lot of money,
Oh yeah, and and the thing
whether
is,
they're white or Mexican.
yeah, and I agree. I mean, there's a guy that I that that I met well, probably 20 years ago when I moved here, right? And I mean, his little landscaping company, right, now has like 95 employees, right? And trust me, if you don't speak Spanish, don't even bother walking in there because you're never going to get anything done, right? Because I mean, he speaks English, but everyone works for him. Yeah, it's like their second language, or maybe even their third language, right? And but they're all legal Americans. They're all here. They all have U.S. passports, and and almost 50% are American born, but they don't really speak English because they don't have to.
Scott, I worked with a guy who had a business, and his business was dog walking,
Mm-hmm.
and he was grossing $500,000 a year.
Oh yeah. Well, I watched I watched a video a couple of years ago about a guy doing walking, and he had like in New York City. He's got like 20 dogs, and he hired and what he'd do is hire a homeless guy to walk behind him. He said, "Okay, I paid a guy $40. Right? It's about $10 an hour. And what he does, he walks behind me with his little dog scooper in a cart and with a plastic bag in it. And if the dog stops to poop, he picks it up and puts it in there." He says,
Yeah. These are entrepreneurs using their brain.
And he says, "But I get about, he said, and he was in Manhattan and he was getting like, between $50 and $100 per dog to take them out for a walk for 1 hour."
Yeah.
He says, and then he said, "I drop these off," and he says, "and 30 minutes later, I pick up the next 40. He says,
there you go. No, exactly.
And
no, and the people who are paying for dog walkers and dog sitters and stuff like that, they have a hard time finding someone reliable that'll show up and do it. So when they get somebody, they're loyal to them.
Hey, give me about 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
I mean, some of these dog walkers, like this guy, like he would, he has to go inside someone's house, first of all, to get the dog, then take them out on a real long walk, let them do their business. Timmy, welcome to the program. Radio Man, how are you? Thanks for stopping over tonight. I guess I felt like talking a little bit. So I put the live stream on.
The thing is that,
and I broke the Timmy. I broke the camera. I had it pointed right at me, and it died.
Yeah.
Scott seems to think that that's a symbol, a sign.
Well, I mean, not as bad. Not yeah. He's got those laser eyes. He's one of the what was that? What was that?
Mark B-Joy just lets him out in the backyard to do his business.
Yeah. That's probably true.
Well, I'm not keeping you awake, am I?
No. I was just reading through stuff here. Yeah, meatpacking plants are paying $16 an hour.
In Podunk, Nebraska. Is that a real place?
Yeah.
Podunk.
Actually, yeah. When I went to junior high in a place outside of Omaha, Nebraska. Yep.
Well, that's what you should say next time, Scott. When someone asks you, where you graduated from, say Podunk, Elementary school.
Well, actually, I graduated from a high school that doesn't exist anymore because it got merged into a bigger high school.
A bigger, better high school.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny because it's somebody
In Wisconsin?
Actually, that one was because here's the deal. I went to Clearwater High School, right, in 1969. Yeah, for my junior year.
All right, wait a minute. Hold on here. Let me think about this. So you were in high school in 1969. That means you must have been about 17, 18, which means you were born in like 50. So you're about by my calculations, you're about 227 years old right now.
I didn't finish the story, but I didn't do so well in high school because the problem was is the beach was 2 hours away, and the beach was like 20 minutes away, 15 minutes away, and you'd have to get there, and because the high school at that time was so overcrowded, you had to go.
Wait, they have beaches in Wisconsin?
No, this was in Florida, Clearwater, Florida, and so you had to walk. So you had the morning, which was 7:15 to 12:15, and then you had the afternoon was 12:30 to 5:30 for the students, and I decided, there's no way I'm getting up at 7:15 and making class. So I went 12, I did the 12:30 thing, and then I pull in, park, and then you had to go to the whole homeroom thing back then. And by the time I'd leave the homeroom after, 15 minutes, I'd walk back past the car, and somehow I'd end up down on the beach until like 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
Mark, Pizza Hut should just close their business altogether. The pizza stinks on ice. It's terrible. I'd rather starve than eat Pizza Hut.
Well, I mean, I realized, hey, did you see that? Did you see that video I sent? I sent you a video, didn't I?
Yeah.
What you do is walk into a pizza place, tell them, hey, you want to, give me a pizza.
Oh, by the way, pizza,
open up. Hey, get one of those cans of the pineapple and pop it open. The peel open ones, just pop it open right there in the pizzeria, and grab the slices of pizza and put it on top of the pizza and start folding it.
Yeah, okay, I'm just ignoring you right now. But I did one big update in the comparison between Colombia and the Philippines. I actually found good pizza in Colombia.
Did you?
Yeah. New York City style pizza.
Yeah, that's also because, they're also much more European.
And in addition to that, obviously Colombia is a big coffee country.
Yeah.
They take their coffee seriously, like good countries do.
Yeah. CBGB said, if you join Costco, you'll never starve. Free sample daily buffet. Yeah. Actually, I know the people that go to Costco every day just.
Hey, when I had the restaurant,
grab 3, 4, or 5 of these.
When I had the restaurant with my brother, we had our normal, Cisco deliveries and everything, but all like little things and whatnot we would find at Sam's Club. And Sam's Club did the same thing. Like we would go on a Saturday, and as we're walking around buying the stuff for the store, they're just, feeding you all this garbage.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
but it was smart for them to do that because, a lot of restaurants would have like bought the things that you just, heat up and serve to a customer, because people don't realize that most of these restaurants you go to, that's all they do. They just bring the stuff in frozen and heat it up for you.
Well, like I told somebody, I said, when you look at like Chinese buffets and that.
Oh, I don't like buffets.
Yeah, I mean, most of that stuff comes in buckets, and it
I,
hangs for
I,
dozens
I,
of years.
I couldn't find good Chinese food though in Colombia, but I did find the pizza
Ooh,
and
trust me,
empanadas.
you don't want Chinese.
Do you enjoy empanadas?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I'll eat almost anything. But,
Yeah, well, we
yeah,
found out that they actually have them in like veggie.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean it always starts with the potato,
yeah.
but they put like beans in it.
But here's one of the best ones I ever did was Monterey, Mexico. Went down there business trip, and the gentleman from Texas, right? They booked a room at the Americana. This is where we're gonna stay. And we got there, the guy's like, "Oh man, they got a Chinese buffet behind, or Chinese restaurant behind us." And the thing, he said, I want Chinese food. Okay, we'll go over there. I'll pay for it. Okay. I knew when we walked in, right? Have you ever been to a Chinese restaurant and nobody speaks English? Yes. Have you ever been to a Chinese restaurant where nobody speaks English or Chinese?
Well, that's bad.
Yeah. No.
I'll tell you, like I have my favorite Chinese restaurants, but the best one I ever went to was in it's in Queens. There's like a Chinatown in Queens,
Yeah.
and I went into this Chinese restaurant. I was dating this girl at the time, and that was the best goddamn Chinese food I ever had. Like
Oh, yeah.
all the customers were Chinese, So I said, "Wow, this is the right place." It wasn't a tourist spot or anything like that. The Chinese was sitting down and eating.
Yeah. But the best part is, we go in there, right? And it's like,
And by the way, that's true of just about anything. Like if you go into a Mexican restaurant and there's all Mexican people eating the food, it's probably the best Mexican food you ever have.
Yeah, I mean, you come here to the Phoenix area. There's a lot of great Mexican restaurants. I tell people, I said, okay, if you see a bunch of white people in there, it's probably not a Mexican restaurant. I mean, it's like Chinese restaurants. If you go in there and there's a bunch of Mexicans in there, it's not really Chinese food.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, here in New York, they have Mexicans cooking everything: Chinese food, pizza, everything.
Well, like I said, here in the United States, I mean, Chinese food is not Chinese; it's American food, and it
is.
It comes, in restaurants, like the buffets, they all buy from, there's only like 4 companies in the United States that, make the stuff for Chinese buffets, and they buy them from it. It comes in 5-gallon buckets. They heat it up, they throw it out.
Yeah, they heat it up in a wok to give you that authentic.
I mean, nowadays they heat it up in kettles of boiling water.
No, not here in New York. They wouldn't get away with that shit.
But the sauces and that, they come in huge buckets. It's not really Chinese food, because if you go to China, just so you know, 90% of what you call Chinese food you never find in China.
Well, I couldn't find it in Colombia either. So apparently, it's just like an American adaptation to Chinese food there.
Yeah.
And they probably have them in different places, because I seeked out a Chinese restaurant. I only found one in Colombia, and the only thing that I recognized on the menu was wonton soup.
Yeah, because they actually serve Chinese food. But but I always laugh about all that. You get these, people that'll be like, "Oh, I love Chinese food." Okay, you've obviously never been to China, because they have no idea what General Tao's chicken is. They have no idea what Mongolian beef. They don't know any of this stuff.
No,
But
because it's different.
Yeah.
Like the
I mean,
real Chinese places,
Brock,
actually,
yeah,
they're kind of
Brock,
like disgusting. Like if you ever walk by like a Chinese store,
oh yeah.
they'll have the dead animals like hanging up from a string.
Hmm.
And I asked them why they do that, and they said to show that it's fresh.
Yeah, you want fresh. I mean, hey, if you're gonna eat a bat, do you want an old nasty frozen bat or you want fresh bat? Want
Yeah,
fresh bat.
I ain't seen a bat. I seen pigs and
Yeah.
chickens and stuff like
Well,
that.
yeah. I mean, duck,
Pigs
chicken, yeah, yeah, whatever. No, yeah, could be the neighbor's dog.
could be.
Uh, but, yeah, yeah. But I always laugh, when people talk about that, because actually, because like you said, Americans don't leave America, right? And I always love the guys to say, "Oh, I've been all over the world." Really? When? Well, I was in the Navy. We went to. Oh God, you were in the Navy, and your
Yeah,
boat docked at a port.
right.
MK, how you doing, babe? So your boat stopped at a port, right, where thousands of other Americans got off a ship, and you went into a restaurant and you ordered something, and you thought that was authentic food.
Welcome, MK Love Show TV and 3 times.
Yeah, but but the difference is, right? The difference is, right, that no, that was Americanized versions of their food. What they did is they learned, okay, if we add more sugar here, or less sugar, whatever, that Americans like the flavor better. Right? They don't make authentic food where Navy ships show up. And I lived in Japan, right? If I went down, I mean, if I took my Japanese, partner, and we went down to Okinawa, and we were down by the Marine base there, we had to drive 20 minutes, to a place to get food because he said, "Oh, all that stuff tastes so bad."
God,
Because American.
Scott, when I did my live, I put up who's up for a quickie, and so far I've gotten no takers, except maybe Every Man Repeats a Story. You might be interested
What?
in a
What?
quickie. Who's up for a quickie? That's the title of my live stream that I connected to yours.
Oh, who cares? I mean,
BK's back.
I've hit the point where I really don't care. I mean, it amazes me, all these people that, back when we used to have like 200 people, 150 people, and they would, and we'd have little living conversations there like, oh, they want to believe something that isn't true, then hey, fine, believe that. Believe that, that all of the stuff you're saying is true, then fine, believe it. When I would point out certain things, like I said, way back when we were talking about, like the president amnesty. So if the U.S. Supreme Court rules the president cannot be charged with a crime unless he's indicted by the Congress and 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 convicted by the Senate. Next month, right? And he says, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to tell the FBI go out, arrest Donald Trump, take him out in the field, and shoot him in the head." And he finds one agent willing to do that. Right now, he will be convicted. He will be charged by the Congress. Right? Now, will he be convicted by 66 U.S. senators? Probably not. So, hence, Donald J. Trump cannot run for president because he just got shot in the head. That's what you're saying. You want legal. And they just, they go nuts.
See, every man says he's up for something different. Fatherhood at 70 is going to get old fast.
Oh, yeah. I mean, B-Joy brought, actually that was brought up today. B-Joy said, oh, a friend of hers says, oh, you should have a son with, I said, I told her, I said, you realize you're 42. right? If you have, if you have a baby now, you'll be 40, 40. By the time she's almost 43. I think, you'll be 44, let's say, when the baby's born. Right? So you'll be
That's too old.
65. Yeah, you'll be 60. You'll be like almost 70 by the time they're out of college. Right? And and I will be dust. Right? But if you expect me to play with the baby, right, or go out and teach, spend time with the baby, that ain't gonna happen. Right? My baby days, long, 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 20 years ago, they ended. Right? With my daughter.
Mark says, JG, you have more people here than Scoot does.
Yeah, so what?
Exactly.
Yeah. We used to do this all the time, and we'd have, doesn't matter.
We'd have 800 people on at once.
Yeah.
But we stopped doing it.
Well, people get, unfortunately, a lot of them wanted to argue. Oh, remember the trolls when the trolls used to show up?
You know what? I didn't mind it when the trolls. Yeah, when the trolls are funny, I like them.
I used to like that.
I don't like the spammers.
But I thought those were annoying, but
Yeah, they're just they're a fucking flea on your ass.
It used to drive me nuts. They just the same thing again and again. Is it really, you're going to send it every 20 seconds? The bot spammers, and it's nice that YouTube finally, killed them off.
Every man says his wife smells of baby poop, and she will never have sex again with him anyway.
Oh, nah, that's not true.
That's the most honest thing I've heard tonight.
Well, I can tell you, at my age, that there's a lot of women that today, in today's day and age, they have one child, and that's all they'll ever have.
That's good.
Because, but here's the thing, a lot of, B-Joy even asked this, what's this thing with all these women, they want to be gay? They what? They want to be lesbian. They have one child and they want to be a lesbian.
Yeah, what is with that?
Well, it's because, childbirth is a little bit painful.
I thought it was because of the passport bros. They don't have any, the men leave them.
Well, no, it's I think I said, I know a lot of women said, hey, if I ever go through childbirth again, I'm going to kill that man. And that's one of the reasons, U.S. population's dropping.
If I was crazy over a girl that was younger than me that could have a kid, I may do it. But other than that, I'll be fine without any.
Yeah, well, you're still young enough. You can. You're what, 50?
Mm-hmm. Next week.
Yeah. Yeah, you're still a puppy. Yeah, if you did, you still, you could still go out there and spend time with the kid, right? Take him around, show him how to buy a good slice, things like that. But, I told B-Joy, my age, no. It's, I don't want, is that I've seen, kids that.
Every man, MK is a girl.
Yeah.
He's a woman. She has the number 2 food. She has the number 2 food hub in all of San Enrique. Yeah. Not just any woman.
Yeah, she is. MK is my friend, and yeah, she's definitely a woman
with a big stick.
And we won't even ask. We won't even ask about her stick.
Yeah, that was the thing, Scott. When I was at in Colombia, I went to a city called Cartagena. It's like the beach area right on the Caribbean coast.
I know where it's at. Yeah.
Yeah, and I came out of the hotel. There was like a mini market across the street, and I saw this guy that he was wearing a kilt, a black kilt, and a black shirt that said something to the effect with
It didn't say I'm shooting star, did it?
no. Although I did tell Bruce that I thought about him when I saw the guy with the kilt, but no, he had a shirt on that said, "With balls like these, they won't fit in jeans."
Yeah.
So,
Hey.
and I wanted to get a picture so bad, but I didn't want to bother him. He was with his girl.
But hey, just so you know, no, and I guess MK is available. You'd have to ask her husband though.
Yeah. Of course you have, Mark. This is a great country, great people.
Actually, I'm waiting for Bruce to get his passport.
I think he applied for it.
Yeah, he applied for it. So because I'm ready. I'm ready to head over to the Philippines. I always told him, I said, I'll go along with you. It's the first time you ever left. Ever left your little comfort zone. East Texas to Mississippi. He almost made it to the west, almost as far as past Louisiana. Right.
Wow, I'm surprised he didn't jump at the chance to fly with you.
Oh no, he'd have a great time because I'd probably upgrade him to first class,
business class.
I said, put him up in first class.
No, you can't do that to Bruce for his first trip. Put him up in Philippines Airlines doesn't have first class. The highest they have is business class.
Right. But who says you got to? I put him on Qatar Airline.
I love Juan Valdez. Are you kidding me, everyman?
Who's Juan Valdez?
Juan Valdez. Yeah, in Colombia. So, I remember the commercials as a little boy. Yeah. Juan Valdez climbs the highest mountains in Medellin to pick your coffee beans that you get every day in the coffee shop. And so I walked out of my hotel, and across the street was Juan Valdez coffee shop right there. And it was fantastic. I loved it. And then my travel partner then told me later that he actually saw a Juan Valdez in Miami International Airport. So they're expanding.
So yeah. But I mean, and then later they changed the commercial. And Juan Valdez.
Juan Valdez. Excuse me. Juan Valdez.
Valdez. Okay. And my children now climb the mountains of Colombia to pick the cocaine to send to the U.S.
No, they don't have it no more. You know where all their drugs are coming from? Mexico, because of the cartels.
Nah, they still do cocaine up in Colombia.
No.
I have friends still in that, in that area, and yeah, they still do it.
I'm sure they still do it, but it's not on the scale or scope of what it used to be.
Oh yeah, it's still huge.
No, it's not.
It ain't talked about.
It is another person that hasn't been there in a really long time talking shit.
No, it's you don't realize it's okay. I mean the cocaine. When the Medellin cartel ran, Colombia. Back when I was there, yeah, they did.
I went to Comuna 13.
Mm-hmm.
That's where Pablo Escobar was from, and when he was running for president, he built all those people's houses and gave it to them for free to get their vote. That's what Trumpy should do, but he don't have the money.
Yeah, I mean, I'd vote for Trump if he built me a new house. But no, it didn't work for Juan Valdez either, or for Escobar. But the deal is, what I'm saying is that no, the cocaine business, what they don't do is they don't refine in Colombia anymore. Because here. Columbia.
Take care, Mark. Enjoy your swim.
Later.
That'll be the last peaceful moment he has when he goes for that swim and comes in. It's all over. He's got the dogs. He's got the baby. He's got the wife that's angry at him. It's going well. He's having fist fights at 70 years old with people in wheelchairs.
Who?
Mark Thornton.
Yeah. Why?
He's a tough guy.
Oh.
But he has like the softest skin ever. If you say anything, you can't take it.
Who's this guy?
He's just some douchebag that lives in Dumageddon that interviews boring expats that just got over there.
Oh, okay. He's one of the Dumageddon people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's one of those clowns that ruined Dumageddon, or?
Yeah, that destroyed it, basically. In fact, he got all the vloggers kicked out of the coffee house that's popular there among the expats. Because the place used to let all the guys, make their videos and do stuff in there. But now, since they're having fist fights, they said no more. It's interesting what these 70-year-olds can get themselves into trouble. If he was just a little older, he could run for president.
I mean, these guys, they go over there, they got no money, they have no income, they have no income stream, they have no idea what they're doing. They get involved with, and they say, oh, I'm going to make all my money on YouTube. And,
good luck with that.
Yeah, and they're going to, beat each other up in a coffee shop, looking for viewers. Yeah.
Isn't it unbelievable?
I mean,
at 70.
Yeah. I can tell you at that age, probably, don't want to argue and complain that much.
No, I mean, if you go to one of these countries,
I can tell you at my age, right, I let a whole lot more go than I did when I was 40.
Of course.
And a hell of a lot more than when I was 20.
Right.
Yeah, but I did tell a smart little ass fuckhead, right, on Thursday, right? I said, I said, I realize you're 28 years old, right? But I'm going to explain this to you one time, right? You ever talk to me again like that, right? The next sound you will hear is my hand slapping you upside the head, and right after that, your head hitting the fucking concrete floor. Have I made myself clear? Right? But that, but he pushed me to the point where I had to tell him that. Now,
some people need to hear it.
20 years earlier,
you would have just hit him. Right.
And I said, but see, I don't want to get, I mean, he's a burly little Irish guy. And, and Connor, right? He's and yeah, maybe I slap him upside the head. Maybe he won't fall the first time. And then, there'll be a little more altercation. I'll probably win that. Right? But see, that's what I've learned with age. Pick your battle.
Right. That's like from 45 minutes ago.
What's that?
That comment you threw up there for a second.
But anyways, yeah. I said, I never understand that idea. If somebody's going to jump in my face, even today, yeah, just remember, that old what's that movie, Gran Torino?
Yep.
Clint Eastwood, says, hey, you ever run into that guy that you really shouldn't fuck with? Yeah.
Yeah.
I am the Viking of Norway. What's up?
Welcome, Viking of Norway. I think wasn't Norway like one of the top happiest countries in the world?
Yeah.
Pretty sure I saw that. Oh, I don't know. It might have even been number one.
Happy people. But yeah, I said, but I always tell people, I said, yeah, I mean, I get that all the time. It's like, well, the area of the Philippines, it's not safe. It's not safe if you're an idiot.
Not safe in New York City.
Yeah. I mean, Dumagetti. I mean, these people that go to Dumagetti, I said, you realize how expensive, I mean, especially if you're looking, to live on the cheap in Dumagetti versus, a place like, like where Tom lives, I mean, you were there, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Wow.
I don't get that mentality anywhere. Like, pick any country. I would never want to be the lowest economic person there. I want to at least be in the middle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here, if but if you're looking to live cheaply.
Well, Tom swears you could do it cheaper in America.
Yeah.
Of course, I do kind of remember that in the Philippines, he just sat on the couch. Now he's working.
Yeah. Now he's driving Uber, 20 hours a day, sleeping in his car. That's fine. If that's what you want to do when you're
70,
80 years old, fine. Do that.
In Norway, the capital is not safe.
I've taken, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's not safe compared to where he lives. But there again, that's relative. Like we talked, before, is if you live in New York City, is it unsafe compared to Albany? Actually, Albany's probably a more scary place.
Yeah, definitely. I've been to Albany.
In New York City. But the thing is, crimes in New York City are reported, and and crimes where you live in your small community are not.
No, I'll tell you what the problem here in New York is, Scott, is that I don't know who passed the law. I don't know if it was the council or whatever, but they passed it where they don't require bail anymore for violent crimes.
Yeah.
So they catch somebody that shot somebody, killed somebody, and then they're out by the end of the day.
Well, see,
literally, not figuratively. And then while they're waiting for that trial that they're supposed to show up at, they're out killing or raping or hurting someone else.
But see, that's actually not true. What they passed was, you cannot, you can't hold people, with an unreasonable bond, right? And some people have said, oh, it means just, catch and release. Nah, it doesn't really work that way.
No, it's pretty much catch and release.
I mean, I did push. I have pushed in the past. Now, if you pick up a guy, and he is involved in a shooting, whatever, he was driving in a car. Should you hold him on $1 million bond because the guy inside the car, shot someone? No. I mean, cut these guys some slack. Now, if he gets picked up a second time,
you know what? I don't want to cut them slack. No, I don't care if he was just a driver.
Right. So if the cab driver that you jump,
I'm not talking about a cab driver. I'm talking about like a criminal has a driver that.
But it doesn't work that way under the law. The law says
they don't arrest a cab driver for picking up someone that shot them, especially when they don't know that they shot anybody.
No, wait. No. I'm saying here. So you get in a cab. You're driving along. Right? Somebody cuts the cab driver off. The cab driver starts screaming. Right? The guy in the car next to him screams at him. The cab driver takes out a gun and shoots the guy, next to him, and he fires 5 shots and he hits somebody on the sidewalk. He's now been in, and then he drives off. He's now been involved in a drive-by shooting. You're the guy in the back seat. So you should not get bail.
Yeah, well, I'm not worried about that. It's such a small percentage of shit that happens like that.
It's a small percentage, but it happens. Right? So, you cut the guy in the back seat of, slack the first time. And
you see, the thing is, though, on any type of violent crime, I want them in jail. I want them on a bail so that either somebody's responsible or they don't get out.
Yeah. So
too bad.
You're in jail for bail until the cab driver goes to court and says, hey, I picked this guy up on 42nd Street, and I shot the guy.
Come on. It's a stupid example.
But I'm just saying, right? So,
Yeah, I know. I'm sure
now
it
this is
could
what I
happen, but
think.
it's not
So,
likely to
now,
happen
if you're involved in the second shooting, yeah, absolutely. Hold the guy. Okay?
compared to
And
America.
then,
Norway is the safest place on earth. I can believe
oh
it.
yeah, yeah.
We have a
And
gun culture here.
trust me, America is not even close to the first safest place in the world.
No, it's like the opposite.
I think we're like 35th or 36th.
We have the
I mean,
most people in jail. We have the most murders. The number
well,
one killer of children in the United States is gunfire.
but
Please.
I'm just saying, here we have, you have here in the U.S. Some of the highest crime rates for almost any crime you ever considered. Um, we have, violence rates that, at even at the civil level, that are outrageous compared to most countries. Right? Um, what kind of keeps us from hitting the really highest part is we also have 30% of police precincts, right, and police departments in the United States that report zero crime to the national database, which makes our numbers look a whole lot better. I mean, you realize, I kind of laughed, when we were talking before about, is it dangerous in New York City compared to, like a southern state like Georgia or, Alabama? So they said, the chance of dying by gunfire in New York City is 1/3 of living in one of these, smaller states. Right? The problem is, those smaller states, right? 30 to 40% of the police report nothing into the database. So if they did, how much higher would that number be? We don't know, because there's not a requirement for them to do it. Just my 2 cents worth.
Yeah, well, America's far from perfect.
Oh yeah, but I mean, to think that we're the safest country in the world, no, absolutely not.
No way.
We're actually probably, it's like when having a conversation with somebody about why would you go to Mindanao. You realize how dangerous Mindanao is. It's, yeah, 18 people were kidnapped there in the last 40 years.
My thing with Mindanao is not safety. I just didn't like it.
Now you're a big city boy. You want the big
Yeah.
city stuff. You want
Yeah,
the
but
Manila. Maybe, maybe you could live in Davao or Cebu, but you're the Manila guy. You want the big city. You want all the stuff all the time.
yeah, I do.
Yeah, and and that's not Mindanao. Right?
No, not even in
No,
Davao is that Mindanao.
no. I mean, Davao would be like, going to Jacksonville.
Ugh.
Hmm? Yeah.
Yuck.
For a New Yorker to go, but see, a New Yorker wants to go to Miami. Miami's cool.
No,
Miami.
Miami, the city is okay, but the weather is horrific. It's too hot. It's worse than Philippines in the summer.
Yeah. See, I'm saying, I mean, Miami. Miami is New York City, to the south. It's the biggest city. It's crowded. You got to,
Yeah, you can get
and
anything you want delivered to your house within an hour.
yeah, yeah, and well, I mean, Miami used to be where you could walk around. You can leave your house and you can walk 4 blocks from where you live. You can walk 4 blocks and get anything you want. You might have to go to bodega. You might have, but I mean, anything you want, it's there. Right?
Yeah.
Like here, from my house, you'll drive 1 mile, get some stuff. 2 miles to get other stuff. 4 miles to get something else. Right? Maybe 5 or 6 or 7 miles. Right? To get what you want. And yeah, that's not for everyone. Right? Now, for me to go to a place, like where you're talking about Florida, like Tom's, yeah, I don't care. I mean, I grew up my entire life in a big city, and I decided, move outside the suburbs and past the suburbs up into, into cow country, and I used to drive 45 minutes to get to work, no problem, which meant, 15 minutes of the actual city traffic, and the rest was just getting from point A to point B. And and today, I don't really care. I mean, does it bother me to drive, but like when I worked for Amazon, I drove an hour just to walk into my office to find out I had to be somewhere 30 minutes away.
That's a short commute, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but you have to realize, for me, that's 60 miles.
If I go to Midtown Manhattan from my door, it's about 11, 12 miles. If I drive there, it could take 2 hours. If I take the subway, it could take an hour and a half.
That's because of traffic there. But I'm talking driving 60, 70 miles.
No, I know. Yeah, when you live out in the middle of nowhere, you do more miles.
Yeah. And, even when I lived in Wisconsin, I drove 50, 60 miles every day, just to get down to the office. And, because I don't like to be around the crowds of a city.
Yeah, I mean, those are individual preferences. Nobody's right or wrong.
If I went to a country like Colombia, I'd much, to be in the city itself. Yeah, it's nice.
You don't have to be. You could be in the middle of the province, the country.
But it's nice to visit. But it's. I prefer.
You know what? That's how I felt about the beach when I went to Cartagena. It's a nice place to visit, but I definitely wouldn't want to live there.
I'm always amazed by people that live on the beach. I mean, when I was a kid living in Clearwater, I said, the worst sunburn in the world to ever have? Like, you have any idea what it is?
Is it reflected from the water?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When it gets reflected off the water. But here's the best thing, right? Go out there like, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, with the sun, setting, hang out with your shorts hanging wide open, right? And let that sun reflect off, go under those shorts, and cook parts of your body that have never seen the sunlight. And let that go on for like 3 or 4 hours. And then get up and walk away. And it's like, oh, what's that itch? No. Yeah. I learned that when I was 16. Never again. Never went down to the beach in a pair of shorts after that. Wore long pants. Nope. Ain't doing this. Ain't burning that stuff ever again. But I mean, but yeah, I mean, people say, oh, I want to live on the beach. Right? Live on the beach. Ain't my lifestyle. Live in the city, ain't my lifestyle. It's yours, but not mine.
Yo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, I always told people, I said, when I lived in Florida, Clearwater, it was a 20-minute drive to the beach.
Well, for those that are on Sunday, happy Easter. But Scoot, I think I'm going to shut it down.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna call it a night.
All right, man. Have a good night. Take care, everybody.
Y'all take care. God bless. Happy Easter. And for those of you, Ramadan's almost over. So y'all take care. God bless.